my name's Ian Lohman. I'm a Microsoft Cloud Specialist here at Adepteq, look after the customer relationship side of things. And we'll be hearing from Phil Cave, who's one of our Intranet consultants and a business analyst here. And Knut Relbermo, who's a Microsoft MVP and works for Omnia, who are the organisation we've partnered with for our Intranet Essentials product. So the quick agenda, a little bit about us, who are we, then what is an intranet and why do you need one? So quickly touch through that. Then we'll look at the Microsoft modern SharePoint intranet, so a demonstration of what they look like, what they set out, and some of the basic features. Then we'll look at the Adepteq Intranet Essentials demo, which is with the Omnia, and then we'll go on to a Q&A at the end. So who are we? So Adepteq are experts in Microsoft 365, SharePoint and Teams. So effectively, we've been around for 15 years as an independent organisation, and prior to that, we were part of a large public sector system builder. We've been involved in SharePoint since its inception in 2001, and have been working in the Microsoft Cloud since they first launched in 2007. So we've got a good background there. As you can see from our Microsoft partner logo, we're a gold collaboration and content partner, which is effectively for our SharePoint skills, and also cloud productivity, which is our general Microsoft 365 skills. We sign up to the government Cyber Essentials scheme. So hopefully, we recommend everybody gets their organisations involved in that. It's really good at giving you baseline protection from cyber attack. We're based in Aylesbury for our developers, and we have a sales office in London. We predominantly work with small to medium enterprises, but have all sorts of clients that we work with. So I'll just show you a quick logo wall there of the breadth and depth of the sort of clients that we work with. So we've got public sector, private sector, large global organisations that you'll recognise through charities, schools, and local businesses. So what do our customers think of us? We have an independent reviews site, and we track really well on that. So it's always good when you get a chance after the event just to look at the slide and see what other people are saying about us. And also you can follow the link and that will take you through to the site. So what is a modern intranet? Well, first of all, an intranet is a private, secure website within your organisation. So people access it typically via a browser, although now you can start embedding things within Teams as well. So traditional intranets were typically very static, and a lot of the reason for that is because they were web-based products that needed a web developer to be able to make content changes and update things. So things took a long while to happen. Whereas modern intranets, it's much easier for people to edit and add content on it, so changes can happen a lot quicker, so they're kept much fresher. They're also more of a social platform, so digital workspaces, being able to interact, collaborate and share information, which again has become more important since the pandemic. It's available from anywhere because it's browser based and responsive in design. Intranets can be available on your laptop, your PC, your mobile phone, your tablet. The internet allows workers to access all the resources that they need to work productively and efficiently. Now that really is as far as you want to go. So a lot of it is frontline stuff from the corporate, from the company, what you want to get across to people. So that's again onto the next point, a place where you can share company news and updates and make sure that your organizational goals are in forefront of people's minds. So some of the things that you might put on your website, for example, you might also put on your intranet to get through to your staff. So why do you need one? We've got a number of little things here. So improving internal communications. So a lot of things that people are doing currently are through email, sending emails backwards and forwards, weekly newsletters, monthly newsletters, generating PDFs that are email attachments. So removing that by publishing and sending people a link to where something's published, an alert that something's happened. If you're a disparate organisation and you've got numerous locations, whether all in the same country or across different countries, Omnia is a prime example of this. They have offices throughout Northern Europe. So all of their people can work in the same environment across whatever location and time zone. Intranets are very selfish things. So it's very much about helping employees find the information they want. So I want to know how my pension contributions are put forward. I want to know how to book a holiday. I want to know, etc., etc. So it takes away those extra emails to other people within the organisation trying to find that information, and of course the email back with the attachment on it. Recognition and rewards, another good thing, because people aren't all in the same office now, and you can't have a quick get together and say, oh, congratulations to Hayley because she's achieved XYZ. You can now do that through your intranet. So you can publish on there who's done what, recognitions, rewards, people that have reached milestones in their employment history, things like that. Simplifying the onboarding process. That's another thing that we've done an awful lot of work with people on recently, because of course people aren't necessarily joining a new company and going to their office to meet all their colleagues and do their induction. Often it's done online now through a series of going through pages, watching videos and doing little tests and things. It gives you the opportunity to provide some organisational clarity, what's going on within the company, the right way to do things, and the way that people want you to proceed with different types of work. Encouraging knowledge sharing. It's easy for people to search on the intranet and find information and find knowledge rather than repeating the same thing. Your brand and values, again, in a similar way to with your website, you can put your branding on there, you can have your corporate values on there, and you can have that front and center to reiterate to your staff whenever they go on there. We've already touched slightly on reducing emails by self-service, but also you can reduce the number of meetings people have by having things available on the screen rather than these very quick where people stop by to have a quick meeting. It's sort of taken a lot of that away. Workplace culture is another really important thing at the moment, because and of course that touches on the next one as well, improving employee engagement, because people are in hybrid mode now and they are partially working from home or full time, or they might be partially in the office. It's that workplace culture is difficult to retain remotely, so it's trying to get that across to people as well. Make sure your staff are engaged and are able to feed back to you and interact with you. So with those sort of points in mind, we're going to move on to now Microsoft Modern SharePoint Intranets. So effectively, this is a bespoke intranet solution that we build based on Microsoft's out-of-the-box technology that are available. So we manipulate the out-of-the-box technology. SharePoint is included in your Microsoft 365 or Office 365 subscriptions, so there is no additional cost for that. It's just for the professional services. And all the data within the modern SharePoint intranet resides in your SharePoint service. So the person that's going to take you through this demo is Phil Cave. He's a Microsoft certified professional. He's got numerous years experience of working with SharePoint and with intranets, and he's one of our leading business analysts. So if I hand over to Phil now for the next part.
Hello, thanks for joining. So what I'm going to do now is show you some examples of different intranet sites that are created using no additional tools. So everything you see can be created out of the box using Microsoft SharePoint. So what we're looking at now is a very standard intranet for users. We've got some top navigation here so people don't get lost. We've got our links to all of our Microsoft products we have licenses for at the top, and we've also got navigation at the side to take us to my news and my files and that type of thing. At the top here we have a news carousel, a countdown timer. Can count down to anything. This one's actually set to count down until Christmas Day. Set that for anything we like. We've got some company news, a widget to show us what the weather's like. We've got some world clocks, some recommended videos, so we can store video on our intranet site for people to click through. We've got some news that's targeted as me. This is my news. It's the things that I'm going to be interested in. We've got some conversation. This is Microsoft Yammer. So we can start conversations with our team or anybody in our team. We have a Twitter feed. We've got a section for documents I've recently been working on. So within my digital workplace, things that I'm doing will be surfaced on the intranet just for me. We've got links out to other things, so links to my benefits, so on and so forth. And we've got sites that I frequently visited, and I can say, look, let's see all. And now I can see all of the sites I recently visited within the SharePoint environment. And we've got recommendation. These are documents that have been added that it's recommending to me. And it just creates me a link, and as I click on it, it will open that document. And this is an example of some medical benefits. That's one of the out-of-the-box templates that's been populated with example data. Second one, this one's called Leadership Connection. It's somewhere where you can put your CEO blogs, that sort of thing. Big links out to other items. Some more news from the executive team. Q&As and a video. Some recent communications. Some more conversations, but with the leadership team. But you can see it's engaging. We've got some event calendars here. So if we want to put some events on, we can just add them, and we can see what's happening around the organisation. Another example, this one's HR. This is where staff can come to look at policies and statistics, find out about benefits. Okay. Join the gym, for instance. Employee handbook is here. These are the sort of self-certification things. So book a holiday, and enter your sick leave, and so on and so forth. So these really are just examples. At the top here, we've got a nice what's called a mega menu. As we hover over this mega menu, we get some flyouts. I can see staff benefits, new employee enrolment, so on and so forth. If I click on benefits, that takes me to the staff benefits page. Okay, so if I go back to my original, start looking at how our news works. So the news web part is one of the more powerful, and it's for communicating anything to anybody in the organisation. If I want to create a news item, then click on New and choose News. From here, I'm creating a news item. What you see is what you get. I can change the way things look very quickly. I can search for images. When I'm happy that my news looks as I want it, I can post it. So it's designed with an interface that's very simple for untrained users to work with. And if I go back to the news, and if I click See All, it keeps for us a history of all the news that's been posted. News is never deleted unless we want it to be. If I'm an owner of the intranet, I can very quickly create news digests to send out to the organisation. Our customers love this option. They can choose the news that's been posted in the week. Say next. Decide who we're going to send this news to. I'm not going to send it to everybody, that would be silly. I'll send it to myself. Okay, so that's very quickly created me a newsletter, and I can send that, and that news has now gone out as an email to the whole organisation. In fact, it's probably come through by now. Editing pages, very, very simple. Provided I'm a content owner, I have an edit option. If I click here, the page is now in edit mode. And if I want to change any of these web parts, I just click it and choose the edit option. And the changes I can make appear at the side here. So the same for weather, for instance. Or I can add some weather. So very simple for me to do. If I want things to look a bit different, the news layout, for instance, I'm now editing that. I can change it, single click. If I don't like what I see, click it again. Okay. Very, very simple for me to click through. When I'm happy with that, I can publish it. So if I want to add a new page to my intranet, all I do is click here, choose page. I can choose a template if I wish to. I'll just create a blank one here. And then I can start adding items here. So I can choose what I want my layout to be. Let me put a vertical section in. And I can now add something. So if I click on the add, you can see the variety of things that I can add out of the box. I've got a Twitter feed, lists, I can put text on, I can put document libraries on for document storage, buttons, dividers, hero web part, images, and it goes on and on. Stream, which is a Microsoft product for storing video. Document libraries, recent events, Yammer. I can put countdown timers on, organizational charts based on my Azure AD. I can add Microsoft Forms. So you can see it goes on and on and on and on. So without any technical knowledge, we can very quickly add something. Here I've just added a Twitter feed. Say it's Microsoft's Twitter feed, for instance, and we want 5 posts and publish. So I've now got a new web page in a matter of a couple of minutes. So you can imagine if you spend 10 minutes longer in designing your pages, you're going to get some much better items. This is just one more example of a communications site, just to show the use of page templates. If I create a new page here, I get to choose different templates. So I've got a template I've created here for the introduction of a new hire. Okay, so I think that's all the examples that I've got to show you today. So we'll move on, and thank you for your time.
So next we're going to go through the Omnia, the Adepteq Intranet Essentials with Omnia. So Omnia have won the Clearbox Intranet Choice Europe Award for 5 years in a row now. They're the only organisation to have achieved that within their bracket. So as well as having the ability to build intranets that are bespoke, we also offer an intranet in a box solution. So what that means is that there's a lot of functionality already built and available, and it's deployed for you. So it requires a monthly subscription fee, but as with the bespoke intranets, all the data resides in SharePoint. So it's just an alternative that can kickstart things and has got a lot of functionality built into it, ready to be used. So Knut's going to take us through this. He's a Microsoft MVP and he works for Omnia and he works with us in partnership. So I'd like to hand over to Knut.
Thank you, Ian, and thank you, Phil. So let me share my screen. Oh, here we go. So everyone saw how you can do an intranet bespoke out of Microsoft and SharePoint, but sometimes maybe that's not enough. Or maybe sometimes you want to do something more. Maybe sometimes you have requirements that couldn't be fulfilled with the bespoke intranets that Microsoft provides and that Adepteq provides with SharePoint and other technologies. So that's hence where Omnia comes in, and also it's an intranet in a box product. So it comes with a lot of added functionalities and a lot of added features that you might not have already when it comes to the Microsoft offering. One isn't better than the other, so you kind of just need to figure out which one is the best for you, for your organization, and which fits better into kind of what you want out of an intranet. But typically, a few things that we could highlight from kind of an Omnia perspective is that navigation, like, so for instance, when it comes to navigation, when it is Microsoft out of the box, it's very limited, like what you can do from a navigation perspective, especially from also how many levels you can have, and also how it will look and feel afterwards. So this is typically one of the things that we highlight when it comes to having a product on top of Microsoft 365, is to then get that better user experience. And of course, everybody wants their end users to be able to navigate quickly to the items that they want to have in an intranet. Other things is that it comes with a predefined news center. So here we see all the news that has been created. Here we can apply different kind of filtering. We also see the present coming in from Microsoft Teams. And when we are going into one of them, it's rendering a lot quicker than what you can do from Microsoft 365 experience, because we are having our own rendering engine to make it a lot quicker and smoother for the end users when it comes to that. And you see how quick everything renders. We also have a second navigation here on the right side that you don't have when it comes to the bespoke intranets. So for instance, here we have our search. It could be up here as from a vanilla SharePoint experience, but we also have something nice here that is our link. So this is also part of the intranet in the box offering. So you can have links that is targeted to a set of users in the organization based on their Azure AD security groups, or it could be my personal link. So I get like kind of a link library as well as part of my intranet offering. We can also go and see a notification panel, because a lot of times when you create news and you publish news, it's also important to notify the employees. And here I see that, I have 2 unread news articles, here, which is really important for me to know, because then I may need to show them some attention. We also have the integration with Microsoft Teams. So for instance, you can have your intranet, as you can see here, also directly into Microsoft Teams, and this also comes directly out of the box in Omnia, that you can get it in Teams, and you can then put your navigation on the left side instead of having it here on the top. So there's all these kind of metrics that you can get from kind of having a product on top of your offering, compared to just doing it out of the box from the Microsoft perspective. So there are added functionality there for you guys to start to use immediately without needing to do any kind of development or anything like that. Other things you can see is a weekly poll. So this is kind of going into again the employee experience, and typically what you see, like the employee well-being and these kind of things. So you could have a weekly poll on your landing page, so that you can get quickly interactions with your employees. And another thing is also the people web part that we have here, that can be used for either employee of the month. It can be used for maybe if an employee has a work anniversary, or maybe maybe even for new employees, you know, so you can get that kind of interaction. A few other things that you might have noticed is that this is just one of our landing page designs. We could of course have multiple of this. So here we have news on the top, a little bit similar to what was shown from Microsoft, and that's why I don't highlight these things, because the importance here is the fact that it renders quicker. You can have a navigation that is much more richer, and that we have also the notification panels and other items here that we can build as part of the experience. For instance, let's say that you launch your intranet, and when you launch your intranet, it will be also important to have what you can do here, like a tutorial, so that everyone, when they come in first time, they will get like an introduction to the intranet, and by this they will have a better user adoption experience, you know, because here you can custom build the steps that you want to have, and then you can kind of introduce the new intranet to your organization with just a nice wizard here. So they will get like an introduction to that. On the right side, of course, we have more the personalized way of the intranet, a little bit similar to the one that Phil was showing from Microsoft, where we see the recent teamworks that I have here, my recent documents, but we can also show my calendar, as you can see here, and we can also show tasks and stuff from Planner and To Do in the list, so that it's easier for me to follow up on my personal day-to-day job as well. But on the other hand, of course, it's always important to have upcoming events from the corporation side, you know, because in an intranet, it's two views that has to be taken care of. It's the company's view, like what do we want as an organization to inform our employees about? And then the other thing is my view as an employee, you know, like what is important for me to have here, like what will make my workday easier. And with Omnia, with our out-of-the-box product, we will really care for all of those things, you know, both of them will be cared for in a unified experience. And of course, we can go in here, we can navigate to one of the pages, and as you can see, everything here loads like lightning quick. And this is one of the really key experiences that we have, is the performance. Another thing is that it can be custom build the UI, so we have much more alternatives from the UI experience. So we have a amount of templates to choose from, but if you don't like any one of those, we can kind of tailor make a template for you to make it look exactly how you want. And that's kind of also part of an intranet in a box experience. Of course, it will come as an additional cost when it comes to time to spend to create it, but at least you will get it how you want it to look like. So, which I think is really, really important as well. And of course, Omnia is a lot more than that, and that's why I kind of also wanted to just go and show you a couple of images as I have here, because one of the nice things with Omnia is that you can also have a mobile app. So this is kind of an example of how the mobile app will look like. So with Omnia, you get also the Omnia feed, as it's called, or it can be also custom branded to your specific requirements. So if you want an app to be called the company name, that is totally possible and doable as well. And then you get also to the frontline workers, because that's something that always is important to know when you build an intranet. It's like you need to think which or where is it possible for me to reach my employees, like what type of platform is better for my employees to use. Are they on the computer? Are they on the mobile phones, or maybe they just need some information screens in the office where they will see the information, because a lot of times not everybody is in front of a computer the full day. And this is also why in Omnia you get the Omnia mobile feed. Of course, Microsoft has some alternatives of that. You can use like Viva connections as an alternative inside of Microsoft Teams. You have the SharePoint app, as you can see here, you have like a native SharePoint app, but it's not possible to brand it and tailor make it in the same way for your company with getting your logo and colors and all that kind of stuff. Or you cannot choose the tabs that you want to have here, but in Omnia we will be able to provide you with that capability. So it's just to show you that Omnia is much more than just your average intranet inside of either Teams or inside of your browser, because we want to be in all the locations where your end user might want to sit and do their job. other things that, of course, is a different from our side to the kind of the bespoke intranet is that, for instance, when you are editing your page, we have multiple roles. So, for instance, in Omnia, you are not allowed to kind of add web parts unless you have permissions to do that. While in SharePoint, if you can create a news article, you can also change how the look and feel of your news page is, which is typically not always something you want the kind of the content producers to be having permissions to be allowed to do that. So there are a lot of those mechanisms where things are different, of course. So I'm not going to show you now how the kind of editorial experience is, because I think the key here is just to know that there are alternatives there, you know, like, and one, as I mentioned before, is not better than the other one, but and it depends on your specific requirements, which one you should choose. But the beauty with Omnia and with the essential offering that we have together with Adepteq is that what you see now on my screen is something that could be really quickly installed and configured and set up for you, because that's part of the essential offering. And with the essential offering, all this functionality is switched on by default, but afterwards there are much more functionality there that you can also take to advantage of, that is included as well in the product. But what you see here is things that is then set up for you automatically. So here you have the kind of the landing page with the landing page design. You will have the links, as I showed. It's possible to have the tutorial, a search experience. So for instance, if I will search for social marketing here, you will see that we have the search experience here, searching both in pages and in documents already included. We have also a teamwork navigation where you can go in and actually create teams inside of Microsoft Teams based on provisioning schemes and so on. It's also there ready to be used. And of course, most importantly, the notification panel, as you can see here. So here you will see latest news from Omnia. You will also see latest news from SharePoint. So bespoke SharePoint news are also going to show here. You can see, as I mentioned, tasks. So these are tasks coming from Planner and To Do. So it makes it really easy for me to kind of keep up to with my personal tasks. And then we have latest documents that in this case was empty, but it will show up here. So and all this is part of what we call Omnia Essential. And how typically that is working is that we will come in and do like we will do a set of workshops together with you to figure out like what are your requirements, what are your needs when it comes to an intranet, and then we'll come back and make sure that you will get your logo, you get your color scheme, everything look branded to your organization, and you will get kind of the essential offering put together. And I just wanted to show a PowerPoint that shows all the things that is coming into the essential offering. So you get the start page, you will get the news, as I mentioned, you get the events calendar, Teams integration that I showed you, search notification, all these different things is what you will get as part of that essential offering. And even more importantly is that afterwards you have so much more functionality that you can start to take advantage of within that Intranet in a box product, which is the reason why we have scored so high 5 years in a row when it comes to the Clearbox report, because you shouldn't forget that when you are investing in an intranet, when it launches, it's actually when the project starts, because there are so much changes that has to happen. You figure out there are some new requirements and then you want to apply those. And this is exactly where it's always better, in my opinion, to buy a product than to just do it bespoke, because in a product there are so much more functionality that you might not think in the beginning that you need, but the longer down the road you will figure out that, hey, yeah, we actually need some functionality around that. And then it's much better to just start with a product which has all that functionality and more will be added on later, than kind of to need to be custom build those or develop it with Power Apps or Power Automate and this kind of thing. So it's just to highlight that with the essential offering that we are offering together with Adepteq, there are a lot of functionality there that is just waiting for you to start to use if you choose to go with the Omnia and Adepteq Essential offering that we are offering it to you. And as mentioned, you will get something that looks really pretty. It will look really nice, and as part of the mega menu, you can even put background images, as you can see here. So you can make it look really stand out and something that looks really nice and that your users will end up loving. So I think that's probably it from my side as an introduction to the Adepteq Essentials. And of course, feel free to come with questions and ask if there are any ones. So thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Knut. Right, so really it's a Q&A now. Any questions from anybody? If you'd like to put them in the Q&A panel, then we can see them in there and we can go through those. I've got one so far, which is how long does it take to deploy a basic intranet or the Intranet Essentials? So if I go to you first, Phil, if you could.
Yes. Okay. So using out-of-the-box SharePoint, anything from 4 or 5 days for a simple intranet up and running, up to 2 or 3 months for a more complicated intranet. So really flexible. It's just a standard intranet, about a week, and then it gets longer and longer depending on number of users and the required number of pages.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. And Knut?
Yeah. Am I live? Yeah, I think so. Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of funny, but kind of the essential intranet, you know, in some ways, if you know your requirements, you could kind of get it up and running within the day. But typically there's a lot of workshops and stuff you need to do before that day will arrive. So what we typically say is really similar to what Phil said usually. So it's around a week time until like depending on your requirements basically. But it could be as little as 1 day if you will be accepting the navigation that comes out of the box from the essentials and with the landing page design, because it will be provisioned up with a set of pages and a set of example news and so on. And so it could be in as little as 1 or 2 days if you just accept that. But typically most customers, they want to have a tailor-made navigation and a set of pages and so on. And then of course we are talking about more or less the same numbers as Phil gave for the SharePoint.
Okay, thanks very much. Right, and the other question I had was, can I still use RSS feeds? Phil?
The answer is yes. Yes, you can.
Excellent. And Knut?
Yeah, luckily enough, I could also say yes to the same question. I do, and this is kind of hence why I said as I did before, like both solutions are good solutions. So there's no wrong in choosing one or the other, basically. So, but yeah, we can do RSS feeds for sure.
Brilliant. The only other thing that I thought of myself actually that maybe we should touch on is the support, because of course SharePoint per se, the underlying application, is supported by Microsoft, whereas we then tend to support our clients on a break fix and a best practice and guidance purpose, whereas with the Intranet Essentials product, the ongoing monthly fee that you're paying is paying for your software assurance effectively. So you'll be you'll receive every update that comes in automatically in the software, and that'll be automatically deployed on your behalf. And there might be sometimes there's the ability to decide when that's going to take place, but the actual support for your users would work in the same way as it does with our standard SharePoint intranets, that you'd have a support agreement in place with Adepteq, and we would manage that and help your users and provide the best practice and guidance there as well. Thanks very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.